The next instructional video of this racing lawnmower quick start guide. This will be a quick little video. All I'm going to focus on here is what we do with bearings. What comes with the factory is these bushings right here. Let me get down. You can kind of see them. And there, I think they're 7/8, maybe 3/4. They look like 3/4. Either way, they work well for mowing the lawn. Like I say, around 3 miles an hour. Most of these riding lawnmowers are geared from 3 to 7 miles an hour, and you know, these bushings will last a long time. I've only seen a couple that have worn out, but that won't handle the speed of racing at all. You'll wear those out real fast, and what it will do is it starts wearing your spindle. There's a lot of work that's gone into that. So what we do is we pick up these bearings. Now these are a high-speed bearing. You can pick them up at any of the bearing supply, industrial supplies. They're about $7. I like the ones that have this little retaining clip on them. They're sealed bearing. They work really well. So more importantly though is this piece right here. All this is a piece of 5/8 pipe that will slip over the spindle that I built like that, and that is a bushing spacer. We'll call it spacer, bushing, same thing. So you put your bearing on, then you want to make sure that this is pretty square, so you've got an even surface. Take a file and a square after you cut it, and then you'll have your bushing and then your outer bearing. So you're going to have inner, bushing, outer. Now the thing to notice with this is this piece of pipe only pushes on the inner race. So we don't want to be pushing on the black part, on the seal. So that's something to consider when you're looking. But these are very important, because what happens is as you're moving down the road or around the track, wherever you're going, the friction with the bushings, or even with the bearings, I've had it happen twice with bearings, the friction and the spinning spins even the nylon locking washers, it spins them loose. So, or it spins it tight. So on the left side, the wheel gets loose. On the right side, even worse, is it actually tightens up. I've had this happen twice, where the nut grabs onto it as it spins, it tightens itself in, it'll pop this snap ring off, and it'll keep going in, and it will crash out the inner race of your rim right here. But even worse, it tightens your wheel up on the right side and it locks up. And before you know it, you're just being yanked to the right, wondering what in the heck's going on. So I've had that happen. So this is important. Just put it in the vise, cut it as straight as you can, take a file. I'd cut it a little bit bigger and then file it down so that it's nice and even. Now what I did with this, take this off, is all I did to calculate the size here was or the length. I took my tape measure, put it in like so, measured from inside rim to outside edge right there. And I know this is hard to see, but it turned out to be 2 3/4. So then I put these two bearings together, and all I did was measure from race to, or C-clip to C-clip right there. And that turned out to be 5/8. So simple math, 2 3/4 minus 5/8 gives me 2 1/8. And so I cut this at 2 1/8 long. So if my math is correct, when I put this together and measure from C-clip to C-clip, I should be right about 2 3/4, and that's kind of hard to see with the lighting and everything, but that's where it puts me. So anyway, so that's the front end, that's the bearing. You want to definitely run bearings. You start moving these as fast, and they're reliable. If you do this system, you don't have to really worry about it. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll put the wheel on, just like so. I'll put my lock nut on, and I did pick up some Castle nuts for this. And then what I will do is I'll tighten it up to where I like the way it spins, get the wobble out of it, make it spin true and free, spins good, and then I'll punch it and drill a hole right here and put a cotter key. So that's just the safety mechanism that I like to use. My first year I didn't do that. I'm emphasizing it because I had problems because I didn't do it. So anyway, it only adds a little bit more to do that. 5 minutes, drill a hole, put a key in, and then you don't have to worry about it. So I think that's all I've got for this right now. And I will put some washers on the outside as well. I'll put a washer on the back and a washer on the outside. That way, if they do spin and wear, they won't be wearing that. It'll wear out a washer. So anyway, so that's all I've got for the front wheel. And boy, we're getting close with this one. So the next step will be putting the motor on, and we'll do some of the simple wiring, and then we'll be driving. Alright, we'll talk to you soon.